Hey y'all, it's your girl Corporate Carolyn, and the workday is officially over. And I've had dinner, and I'm getting ready to take my butt upstairs and get ready for bed. But since my husband went down to the basement, I thought I would take a moment to share a thought that I had really quickly. You know how I'm always talking to you guys about anti-aging and also eating better, as well as like losing weight or trying to exercise more. In fact, one of the videos I did recently, I was saying you gotta work out, and you really do. But you know what I thought about? Even though I'm 58, I thought back to the times when I was in my mid to late 40s, or even when I was in my early 40s, late 30s. The question that I had is, but what if you have kids? I can't pretend that I've exercised like this my entire life, because I have not. It was a struggle to get exercise in. And a lot of times, I don't know if you were realizing that I say that I ran for, a little over 10 years, like where I was really getting it in, like in my early 40s, so that I was ready by the time, I got into my 50s. So now I'm trying to maintain. I didn't wait to get into shape, like at 50, because it's infinitely harder. That's why I'm trying to catch a lot of you at the pass so that you can get in shape by 40. But even if you're not, all is not lost. I just said it's easier. It's not impossible, but it's definitely easier when you're on the good side of 40. But for those of you who have kids, all is not lost. There are ways that you can fit it in. In fact, during times where I was in my late 30s, maybe early 40s, and I was trying to lose weight with the children, they're busy with sports, they had homework, and I wasn't always dressed up like this either. That didn't start until people got old enough where when you hug them after a game, they didn't rub their faces in your dress or your shirt. So, definitely things get better as they get older. Some things get worse, because you'll miss them as they start trying to run away and fly the coop. But some things get better in the sense that you have more time to devote to caring for yourself and to wearing clothes that that make you feel really good about yourself, instead of maybe bummy sweats and t-shirts and things that are more conducive to you being the type of mom that you probably want to be. But anyway, I just want to share some of the tricks and hacks that I followed when my boys were younger, in order for me to be able to fit exercise in and still be a good mom, because that is most important. I mean, being in shape and slim and all that stuff is great, but you only have your little babies for just a limited time, and you really have to, have laser focus if you want to train them up in the way that they should go, so that when they're old, they won't depart from it. So you got to, focus, and you got to fit the time for you, like exercising and anti-aging and all that other good stuff. You got to fit it into your number one job as mom. And so, like, some of the things I used to do, one, especially when they were in high school, and say somebody needed to be quizzed for a test or something, they were trying to study, and back then I couldn't wake up at 4:50 in the morning because I was up really late, doing stuff with them, trying to get ready for work. A lot of times I was working late, so nobody was waking up at 4:50 trying to work out. That's some empty nester stuff if I've ever heard it. But back then, I worked out in the evenings, or like say you get home and then people are doing their homework, you might go for a walk or something, or you might go downstairs and get on the treadmill. And what I used to do, like after I'd come home from work, I didn't even have time to change into actual workout gear. There were some times when my boys were in high school and people needed to be quizzed on a test. I'd say meet me downstairs in the office, the room that has like the treadmill, flat screen TV, all that good stuff. I'm like, when you're finished and ready to be quizzed, meet me downstairs. And so they would sit on the love seat, individually, whoever needed to be quizzed, and I would be on the treadmill, and I'd have their papers or whatever, and I'd ask questions while they're sitting there on the sofa or lying on the floor, and I'm quizzing somebody while while I'm actually on the treadmill. And I had actually gotten to the point where, since I didn't have time to change into an outfit, and that would give you a reason to make an excuse, I have been known to be on a treadmill with, like, say, maybe a dress like this and some sneakers. I've been on a treadmill in a bathrobe, just walking while I'm either talking to the kids, quizzing the kids, or whatever. I would fit it in however, whenever I could, especially on the weekends. Like if it was just like before a game or something, and I was trying to take a walk, I'd walk down there to the treadmill. I might have my bathrobe on, probably that same ratty one that you see me putting aloe on my hair in. I might just hop on the treadmill in that, just throw some sneakers on just to walk, just to get my heart rate up a little bit. Obviously not sweating that much if you're wearing a bathrobe. And then in addition to that, like, fitting it in wherever I could, like say after dinner, just going down there, hopping on the treadmill, just totally used to and okay with people coming in to talk to me about schoolwork, to ask me questions, to discuss whatever might be going on in their worlds. And so we just would talk, and I just walk while they talked. We'd watch shows while I walked. I just squeezed exercise in wherever I could. And then also, like say, when people might be playing flag football, if they were playing football in high school, I would take my sneakers, and a lot of ladies would be sitting around just in their chairs talking. I didn't do that. Obviously, I'm like kind of a loner anyway. I don't usually hang out with a lot of ladies, because a lot of times ladies don't like me, with this voice and being this prissy. But even for the ones that did, I would come with my sneakers, my shorts on, and then, like say, at the place where my son might have his flag football game, if they were practicing or warming up, I would just do laps around the perimeter of the field, and I just keep walking, and people are talking, but I'm walking and walking. And then when the game starts, then I would stand around and watch and talk to other people. But like while I was waiting, I would walk. I did the same thing when I think people had tennis lessons. I also used to do that if they were at the playground, maybe playing basketball with their friends or something. I would just walk around, the perimeter of the basketball court and just get exercise in. Or like say if they were playing at the basketball court, I would just walk, like do laps around the neighborhood until they were finished, just to kill time. They must have been relatively young where I didn't want to leave them unsupervised for a long period, but I would just walk. And then when they were really small, I think it was during a time where I was in management. Life was just really, crazy, chaotic. I wasn't working out. I had started to gain weight. I was having heart palpitations and everything. And so I told my husband, time out. We need to do a life change. If this job ties me to this house, I don't want this house. Let's move back to where things were simpler. And so we did like a major life change, right? And then I got to stay home with the kids for a little bit. So it was really, really good. But I had this weight to lose. And then I made the mistake of going to join a gym membership at like this really overpriced, nice gym, but it was overpriced. I worked with a trainer. They gave me a complimentary month or something. And then he was saying, oh, you don't want to do too much cardio. You don't want to run too much. You got to get weights in there, and you need to eat protein every time you work out. And I was following everything that he said to a T. I was like, you mean I don't need to be on the treadmill for like 30 minutes or more? And he's like, oh, no, you don't need to do that. Just like get your heart rate up a little bit, like maybe 15 minutes. Then let's do your weights, do your protein. And then next thing you know, I had gained some more weight. And my butt, I found myself like in the 160s. And I was like, what the heck? This isn't where I'm supposed to be. And so finally, I just said, I'm not listening to you. Time out. So job change. I took a couple of years off, stayed home with the kids. And then at that point, I would do stuff with them. I would say, let's go to the park, let's play kickball. I'd be in the field, they'd kick the ball, I'd run after the ball. Like I would walk to their elementary school, let them ride their scooters, and I would either walk behind them or jog behind them. On the weekends, my husband and I would take them to like a baseball field, let them hit the ball, we would run and get it. And so all of that stuff started to add up. to me, losing the weight, I lost more weight than I ever lost with the trainer. In fact, with the trainer, I gained weight. But playing with my kids, I lost weight. And then also we'd play basketball with them. We'd take them to a track, let them ride their bikes, and we would just walk around or we'd run. So it was just all sorts of stuff that we would incorporate people as a family. And then if one person had a weight problem, everybody ran. Fortunately, it was only the four of us. But like if one person needed to lose weight, it's like I would say, oh, hey, why don't we run together as a family? And we would go to the track and we would do all sorts of stuff. And they didn't realize, like whichever one needed to lose weight, they didn't realize that we made it a family affair so that they could lose weight. And then if mom needed to lose weight, everybody was going to go anyway too. So even if you have kids, you can find ways to work out. And also like on vacations, we would bring tennis rackets, basketballs, and we would go like to Myrtle Beach. We would all do activities. We'd play tennis. That was a great way to get exercise and to lose weight until, my youngest son turned 18, and then I was used to beating him, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoo, Shaw is hot. I'm burning up. Aren't you hot? He's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is it so hard to beat him? I didn't realize that he had turned into a man on me. And no more was I spanking his booty like when he was in middle school, because he was a man. And also he had gotten a scholarship to play football in college. So that's why I couldn't beat him anymore. So, we still played just joking around, but the days of me beating people, those were over. Oh, I'd take them to the pool, and then I used to pick them up and like throw them in the water and stuff. And it was a lot of exercise, because by that point, I'm thinking they were like maybe 8 and 10, or maybe even a little bit younger, but I just make up things that we could do, where they would do laps, or, I would try to do laps, because all I can do is swim on one deep breath, because I can't like do my face and turn to the side and breathe and all that stuff. So like we would do stuff like that. I'd take them to the skating rink, because I can rollerblade, or take them to places and I would rollerblade and they would do other stuff. And so there are any number of things that you can do that involve your kids. So don't think just because you have kids that you can't exercise. You can. And then also, let's see, what else? Oh, also, like I say, if they were at a school event, or a function, or like a basketball practice, I would just go out to the track. My husband and I, we'd walk around, or maybe some of the other mothers that might want to get exercise, we would walk around. And then I used to like offer to race kids that were like 11, 12, and like for a short little season I could beat a girl at 11 or at 12, but I knew that by the time they hit their teen years I wouldn't be able to beat them anymore. I even used to race my sons when they were at pee-wee football practice, when they were like 7 and 8, and then I would tell the boys that I could beat them, and they were really shocked. You probably not believe it, but I can run pretty fast, especially for a lady my age. But for the boys that were 7, 8, 9, I was spanking that booty, because I realized once they got to 11, 12, 13, there's no way I'd ever beat them again. So I did beat little kids in races, especially little boys, because they were shocked. No one thinks that anybody's mom can beat them in a race. So I had a little advantage for a while. And again, that was stuff that was burning calories. Make it fun. It's not going to be as regimented or as controlled as what I have going on right now at 58, where my kids are grown. They're off doing stuff. So yeah, I have 2 hours plus in the morning, and I work from home. So if you don't work from home too, don't hold that against you or against yourself. The times where I had to commute, that 2+ hours got cut into like about 40 minutes. And then so the walking that I was doing, to the subway, from the subway. And then also there was another time when I used to commute into a big city. I didn't really have time, because my commute was almost 2 hours. And so what I would do is during lunch, I would walk for 40 minutes. And that was a way that I was able to get the exercise in. So no matter what is going on in your life, there is something that you can do. Even if, while your kids are, doing their homework, if you're jumping rope, even if you have a hula hoop, even after they go to bed, if you're like you and your husband or just you turn on some music and dance, there is something you can do whatever stage of life you're at. You really have to just try to get rid of the excuses, make it fun, realize it's inevitable. You got to do it. If you don't do it, you're going to gain weight. If you don't do it, you're going to break down faster. And by the time you get 40, you could be busted. You don't want to be busted. And heaven help you when you get to 50. Imagine being at my age. And like last year, I did a post on my channel just recently where I was talking about last year I was living ghetto fabulous in my beautiful sundresses and running and doing HIIT, high intensity interval training. And then all of a sudden my knee wouldn't straighten out. My knee said, look, we're 57 and you've been putting in a lot of miles. We're tired of this nonsense. And I had to have surgery. And so now I can't run. But I have built up a foundation over the years where I'm in pretty good shape. So now that I want to do power Pilates, my body's like, okay, now that I'm on the treadmill and I'm walking and not running, doing an an incline of just 2, believe it or not. And with intermittent fasting, like little tweaks, I'm just like, trying to come up with a solution. All of a sudden that's enough in order for me to make it over the finish line. So I'm trying to get you up to the finish line where you're maintaining, but you really got to get up off your butt and you got to get moving any kind of way, by any means necessary, whether it's walking. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. When my youngest son had geometry, I think he might have been in the 9th grade, 9th or 10th, I can't remember, but he needed help. And heaven help me, I never got geometry. I hated geometry more than I hated calculus. And so I was of no help, and my son was struggling. And so his older brother could help him to a certain extent, but he really needed some personalized attention. And so instead of hiring a tutor, which we wound up doing with calculus for my other son, but for him, he had a teacher that said, okay, I'm at school if he wants to come before the school day starts. And I'm like, what time would that be? And he's like, oh, I'll be here at 6. And I'm like, he'll be there at 6? And he's like, yeah, I'll be here at 6 if he wants to come then. And I was like, okay, we'll see you at 6. I think it was like 6 or 6:30, something ridiculous, where I needed to leave the house at least either by 6 or 6:15. And like I used to need to leave for work, by about 8:15. So I was on the treadmill. He would get up, he'd get ready, and then we would leave the house by 6, no later than 6:15, because it was dark and it was cold. And I would take him to school to meet with the geometry teacher, and I would have already done most of my workout by then. And then I would come back, finish it up, get ready for work, and then go to work. But fortunately, that wasn't every day of the week. But I did that. I worked out, and I took him to the geometry teacher, and then I came back home, got ready to go to work. So if you want to work out, you can, even if it's just tied in with the practices, or if you have a treadmill at home, that would be a wonderful thing. If you can get any equipment at home, even if you got a mini stair stepper. I put the link. I put the link in that post, the last one that I did with that sundress, where I was talking about how at 57 I was working out like crazy and wearing my beautiful sundresses. And someone asked about equipment links, and so I put a link to a mini stepper that I use. I don't use it a lot right now in my current workout, but if there's anything wrong with my treadmill or my recumbent bike, I'll work out on that mini stair stepper for about 30 minutes, and it works really well. I enjoy it, but I just enjoy the recumbent bike and the treadmill more. But I have a number of things that I rotate. So if that works better for you, and if that's what you can afford, and if that's what fits in your house, get it. But whatever you need to do, by any means necessary, Auntie Carolyn wants you to exercise and include the kids when you can, because they need to be active too. All right, so that's it. I'm tired. I'm going to bed, because that 4:50 alarm for this empty nester is going to come around way too quick. Hopefully, I've motivated you guys to get out there and move. Your bodies will thank you. You'll age better and you'll feel a lot better too. And you'll have so much fun buying clothes that you enjoy, where you can like sit and not go, so that your clothes actually fit and you look good in them. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel and for subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Until the next time, have a good one.